Thank you, most importantly, to the men and women who are police officers, our Harris County constables, our Houston Police Department officers. These are people that are involved in fighting against these monsters out there that are harming our children. This is not an academic subject for me. I have started this journey 6, 7, 8 years ago in which I became acquainted with this horrible epidemic throughout the country of people molesting children on one of the executions that I had to preside over. And the fact pattern was horrible. And as a result, I passed a whole program called Texas Children First, in which I ended up talking to hundreds of victims and hundreds of parents. And I sat down with the Houston Police Department, the Child Sex Division, and saw case after case and pictures of children who had been harmed. And so my heart goes out not only to these police officers, but our children's advocacy centers who do such a great job. And we're in one right here of being able to take care of the children, make them feel loved, protected. And so, as Senator Huffman said, when they go into that courtroom, they're feeling like they're not all alone. Years ago, former President Reagan said, protecting the rights of even the least among us is the only excuse the government has to exist. You know, here in Texas, we're number one in virtually every business index. I think a lot of times the eyes of America are on us, and we need to do everything we can to make sure that we're helping the most vulnerable in our state. And like I said, since I've been lieutenant governor, starting in 2006 when I was presiding over this one particularly heinous sexual abuse and murder case, it has changed my whole view on what we need to do as a society, as a state, not only in protecting the children, but to send a message. Not in Texas. Not in Texas, unless you want to spend the rest of your life in prison. All right? That's why in 2007, I was honored to propose, and we passed the toughest Jessica's Law in the entire country, the toughest law. We added a number of different categories to our criminal code. Super aggravated sexual assault, we included continuous sexual assault. In some cases, the children couldn't remember whether it was Thursday, September 14th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or a Friday at 2 p.m. And so if someone does a heinous crime that harms our children, my intent was that they go to prison forever. Zero parole. And so Jessica's Law that we passed contains on conviction a 25-year minimum term with no parole, and with lifetime GPS monitoring afterwards. Literally, if you harm one of our children in Texas, we're going to have our eyes on you for the rest of your life, all right? Because we don't want that to happen again. In fact, I felt so strongly about that, I included in the legislation a provision. The jury had the option that, heaven forbid, someone was ever released and they did it again, the jury had the option to go for the death penalty. Unfortunately, that got struck down, but I feel very strongly about this. These increased penalties that we have under Jessica's Law and what we've seen in convictions are not just to punish these offenders, but also to send a big message. Between 2009 and 2012, there were 204 Jessica's Law cases filed right here in Harris County. 204. The majority of them resulted in convictions and jail time for the offenders and several life sentences. I'm proud of the progress that we've made. We've still got more to do. In Senator Huffman, in my conversations with children's advocacy centers, with DAs, we've come to the conclusion that we need to do more, and that is to include in our criminal statutes what is allowed in 11 other states and in the federal system. And that is that evidence of prior offenses against other victims can be admissible, and it'll help our prosecutors put these dangerous and horrible people behind bars once and for all. Because we owe it to all the parents, and we're all parents. We owe it to the parents to fight against those who will harm our children. So that's why Senate Bill 12 is a priority of mine. And let me go a little further. My colleague, my dear friend, who's such a star in not only in the bench here, but also in the state Senate, I think was being a little modest, but I will go a little step further. We will pass Senate Bill 12 out of the Senate. Okay? I used to rodeo. If I have to rope every senator and drag them over there. I want to thank Senator Huffman and her leadership. And I want to thank everyone with the DA's office. I want to thank the county prosecutor. I want to thank all the children advocacy centers and all of what you all do for children. They don't have anyone else, Joy, to protect you. Elaine, they don't have anyone that is out there trying to protect them. To our police officers, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And again, with this legislation, we're going to send a message that if you want to that to anyone who's thinking about harming our children, our young children, you better not. Not in Texas, unless you want to spend the rest of your life in prison.